if you're reenacting the control drama, then what you're really doing it for is to fulfill yourself with what you feel you lack. So you are actually in a state, again, of scarcity or a scarcity mindset. And so it's so important because I love it. I love how we always do this, always do this. And so as we come back on that same wave, what is the importance of the control drama? The importance of the control drama is to allow us to see when we feel like we are less than we are and we are not in the abundance that we actually are. That is our being. And so we could talk about that, but I feel for many who are tapping into this, you are already understanding what it is and the being of that and understanding essence. And so I can do an episode on that later. But why is it important? Because as we always get back to awareness, when we have awareness, when you walk into a room and you are aware, you are experiencing as things are and not putting judgment upon. You can see things for as they are. You don't just go, oh, that person's just acting up or da 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 da. You, instead of throwing labels on it, you experience. So you witness someone going into and utilizing a control drama, which I'm going to give you the four right now. There's the poor me, the oh, just feel bad for me, just oh my God, it's this kind of energy so that people go, oh, let me, and then throw out the coddling energy. Then there is the aloof. That is my control drama. The aloof is, oh, like that mysterious, I'm going to stay to self, I'm not going to extend self. And that causes people to get drawn in because people who are curious wants to know, okay, what's going on over there? And so they will go and look in or seek out and to get insight within that, And so then there is the interrogator. This is the person that will consistently, this is the energy. So the first two I gave are more like this energy are withdrawn. That is a good distinction to make. I'm not sure if James made it in that, but again, at your level of awareness, you should be able to discern that for yourself. So those first two are more inward and pull in, almost like more on the introverted aspect, where the next two are more extroverted. The interrogator is more like this and that out, which is asking the question, why did you do that? Where did you go? What was the point? Da 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 da. We have all had that, and that could also, that could also be translated as someone being like, why are you nagging me? Because it just keeps feeling like no matter what, it keeps getting thrown at. The fourth one is the dominator. This is I'm not sure if that's the word, but I'm pretty sure it is because it's the dominating energy. It is the one that's always like, oh, I had to big on my chest on like I'm bigger than, like whatever it is. It makes you feel belittled, and that's how they get your energy, And so again, the dominator pulls your energy from you almost as you willingly give it, the same as the interrogator. You will start to feel like you're shrinking as more questions are piling upon you and they are getting their energy from it. And it is the other way around when we go into the poor me. A person willingly starts to give you their energy like, oh my God, I feel so bad for you. Oh my gosh. And that starts to rain out. Or again, on the other end, the aloof, where you're like, hey, like everything cool, or well, why you over there alone, or and so it has more of that, and that is more of the willing coming from there and being given. So those are like the extroverted and introverted differences between control dramas. And again, why are they important? Because those are, let's say, the negative, or let's say like the closed side of the chakras, or the closed method for obtaining energy for the chakras, or let's just call it the dirty method for obtaining energy for your chakras. Whereas each of those things can be turned around and flipped, in the sense that there is positive ways of giving energy to one another. But what happens in this interaction is not a siphoning. It is almost like a washer machine of energy. People are passing back. If you're asking the question like, yeah, what did you do yesterday? Da 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 da. And the other person is not like holding back. Oh, I did da 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 da. So you're not aloof. You're not interrogating. This is a cyclic and the progressive way to actually exchange energy, in the way that we all need to understand we are meant to share energy. We are not meant to siphon from people out of fear that we are not enough, that we don't have enough. Many of us won't even believe that we aren't enough or have enough, but yet we still utilize these control dramas, which signifies you feel that you are not enough, or you feel like you need to dominate someone else for you to be bigger and better. You feel like you must interrogate someone else to make you feel bigger and someone else feel smaller. You feel that you must go out there and act like you can't do for yourself to make someone else feel bad for you so that you could feel bigger and they feel a little bit smaller. You feel that you have to separate yourself and make others feel like you are not belonging or there's something going on so that you are bigger and they are smaller. This all shows that we actually feel small from within and are siphoning from others so that we get our fill, meaning we're not fulfilled, and meaning in some aspect of our mindset and in our physical life, as a reflection of our mindset, we are not as abundant or optimized and fulfilled and joyful as we are meant to be. And it takes the truth, it takes someone who's very self-aware, not afraid, and courageous enough to dive down deep inside and ask themselves the question so that you can excavate that, so that you can flip the script and become abundant within that. Let me show you in one aspect what I mean. So let's say me, if I'm aloof to my own path or my own desire, let's call it that, to my own desire of being here with you right now. I was at one point. I used to be much more behind the camera because I'm like, oh, I'm not photogenic. Oh, I don't want to be in front. Oh, I don't like the limelight. Oh, I'm more introverted now than being extroverted. And even when I was extroverted, I didn't like being in front of the camera. But that was a control drama. That was the lesser version of me, and still trying to find a way to, and I love myself for still finding a way and adapting, but I was putting and shooting other people in front of the camera and other people and being like, oh, you know, that person is so awesome. Like just how people talk about rappers and all this stuff, talk about sports. And after a while, you're like, why am I so focused on everybody else's dream and mission and vision? And that is because you feel, and may not want to admit it, and I'm admitting it right now as I talk to you guys about it, and I'm realizing it, is that you feel the lack of abundance or the scarcity and the belief of scarcity in your own dream, or the attainment of your own dream, or the vision of your own dream, or the even the existence of your own dream. You may not even know what your dream is. And so within that, now you are going out again and you're looking at all these other dreams and you're accepting them as if you don't even know how it's really going down. People are on Instagram 24/7 and looking at other people's stuff as if they even understand, is that dream even really happening? A lot of stuff could even be green screen. And that's just one aspect of what I really mean by that. And so if you are really fulfilled and or seeking fulfillment, not being fulfilled, but seeking fulfillment is just as important, as opposed to being like, oh, nope, everybody else could, that person could, they could, but, it's not meant for me. Or, maybe I heard somebody walking down the street the other day just saying, maybe I'm just a hopeless romantic, and maybe I ain't meant for love, and maybe I ain't meant for, that kind of statement is exactly, it reflects the energy in which I'm speaking right now. That is a control drama more on the poor me. Maybe it ain't just, even if somebody want to say, oh, I'm a realist, but it falls in and then somebody goes, oh, no, that person just ain't da-da-da-da-da, and they try to support or coddle, but in a way, the empowered mind will say, I'm a hopeless romantic, and I know it's been seeming as if this not working out, but maybe either I have a high standard of love which I won't succumb to anything less than, and or I have not just found out the abundant and joyful love that is for me, regardless if I want it right now and it is saddening me. That's the actual way to say that statement. But again, we're way too loose with our words, the way that we hold our energy, and the way that we actually discern, and whether or not we even understand, if we have the ability to discern, so that we say things in the mode that I just said we say, and that is and it shows up as a control drama of, I'm not enough, I need somebody else to make me enough. And whether that's in a conversation or a relationship, as opposed to, I may not feel, as opposed to saying and recognizing, I may not feel that I'm enough right now, but I know that I'm abundant and I know that I am enough. Let me find out how to do it right now and getting tapped into it. That's a whole different kind of energy. And even if you have been continuously put in some kind of situation, whether that's and I say put into, but I actually would say thrown into, for talking from a Heidegger standpoint of being in time. But you go from one relationship to another and people have not been good to you. You go from one crib to another and it just keeps on having something about the crib that is just not, you move state to state to state, country to country, and you just feel like people are still being mean to you, not receptive. Then that means that there is something internal, and there is a vibration that you are currently on and that you frequently resonate with that is attracting that thing. So of course, it don't matter where you go, you're going to be attracting the same kind of circumstances. And that is the importance of the control dramas. When you start to see a control drama, it raises your awareness to be aware. It tells you need to be aware and you need to know what is happening right now. So if you weren't aware before and you start to spot a control drama, that should open your eyes and it should pull off the film that had you feeling like, oh, okay, I was not seeing what's really popping off here. After that happens, you should start to really strictly read energy. Somebody may be talking to you and you hearing what they're saying, but you should be able to understand, even if you're not in it and you as two people at the register and you behind them, you should be able to actually see and feel what the words mean and actually be focused on that more than the words, and interpreting all those things like micro facial expressions and body language. You should be able to feel tone. You should be keyed into all those things and so aware of all of them at once that you're understanding, oh, that's the control drama. The one person is being the dominator and the one person is falling into it. The one person is not falling into it because they know how to deal with the dominator and not letting them, over triumph them or put them down. They understand, and you having the understanding of what is happening is awareness in itself. You not hopping into through a personal standpoint of, dang, that person wrong, dang, that person is, you being a witness and understanding what it means to be a witness is awareness and self-awareness and the ability to pull yourself into and out of any circumstance, and that is personal freedom. That is a freedom that not many people, even have the ability to say that they know is real. Many people tell you that it's fake because most people, as soon as somebody says something to them, they gotta react. As soon as somebody looks a certain way at them, they gotta react. Soon as, it don't matter what goes down, that person reacts. They are reactionary. They are not responsive. It is a big difference. And the reason, again, that this all matters, which is the biggest question that I want to make sure I get through to you, is because it is all about awareness. If all you do is react, you are rarely aware. People who react are not aware. Unless you're reacting in a way that is so aware that it's somewhat overridden your subconscious, which is a whole sort of another thing to talk about. But that's almost in a way, let's say, muscle memory, and you are aware of how your muscle memory is working, and you are deeply, let's say, almost hypnotized and aware you're hypnotized, almost like having an OBE. That would be the best way I can explain what I just mentioned. But other than that, then it is your goal and your responsibility to stop being so reactionary. Reactionary shit is volatile. Reactionary stuff is like atomic bombs and all that kind of stuff that is, you feel me, a little tweaking, it's all up from here. We don't know what's happening if it's all over. That's reactionary. Responsive is when somebody really tries to test you and pushes all the buttons and does everything to shake you up, and you still. And you still go, I'm still happy regardless if you spewing hate, regardless if you showing love, regardless if you came with all the gifts, regardless if you just came with your presence, regardless if you gave me the world, regardless if you showed me the world. No matter what is, I am still, and I am recognizing what is, and I am grateful for what it is as it is, no matter which of those it is. And so that's again, a whole different kind of being that, again, many people will not be able to attest to, or I'll say people in everydayness can attest to, because many of us wake up and allow whatever it is to start to throw us around, and we start to go with the wind as opposed to understanding and learning how to be the wind. Many of us, as soon as we get a text, as soon as we wake up, we check the emails. Oh my God, I got 50 emails. As soon as you said, oh my God, your brain said, oh my God, then your body said, oh my God, then you started going down the oh my God spiral, and then the rest of your day is oh my God. As opposed to waking up, throwing on whatever it is that wakes you up and going, oh my God, it's ready. My iPod threw on what I knew I needed to throw. Oh my God, I woke up another day. It's a difference. Same thing, difference. Difference in awareness, difference in perspective, because you're aware in a whole new vibration. So this is, again, all important because those are control dramas. And so how does this really tie into life paths, and why is this so important? I was able to see how your life path is constructed. And this is talked about in Celestine. So I'm not trying to act like I'm taking credit for this, you feel me? Like for what I'm about to say at all. But being able to do so in your own life, and being able to, I was able to see these things before I read this book. And that is the beautiful thing about life. When you really become self-aware, you have notions and structures and beliefs and thoughts that you already have and have already been, which are recorded within the universe and within Akasha. And when you have that and you focus on that, it manifests itself. And then that's synchronicity, right? And so that's what makes you feel like, oh my God, this was meant, again, oh my God, this was meant for me. I've already been thinking this, I already knew this, I didn't have the words for it, or I had the different words for it. Now I can talk about this in the spiritual context, not just the psychological. Or, that is I have a question for you. Oh, okay. And so that's a beautiful thing. Sorry, I got a message. But that's a beautiful thing. And when we are able to bring a certain kind of self-awareness to what it is we're focusing on, then we realize that's why it is popping up. And so through control dramas, James Redfield says that we are able, our control dramas come and form from our parents, right? Like many psychologists have let us know that's where it starts. And that's obvious because that is our place of beginning. That is our origin. Those are the people, our guardians are the people that are pretty much the gatekeepers to us, to life, that initiate us into the world and what it means to be human. You feel me? But actually a soul within a human body, and whether or not we even get that kind of information during their initiation. And so that's so important, because you can understand if you cannot understand your control drama based on what I already told you the control dramas are, then you can look at your guardians. And so I'm going to give me as an example, and this is how you figure out your life path. And again, this is why we went from life path to control drama, because life path is the overarching theme and what we are seeking to understand. If we don't already understand or have some glimpse, which we all do, but a lot of times we don't want to admit to it, like Tiffany Barsotti said, and was like, I'm not a healer, I'm a business person, because we've already been conditioned, and conditioning is just like, I'm not having it, And so, but when we start to do this kind of work, this is the work that allows the transfiguration to actually happen. Digesting information like this and then working on it, applying it, writing your own chart, working through it, seeing how events in your life have you chosen them, and how they've led you to other things that were not available to you prior to. That is doing the work and excavating and having insight to actually look within and scan your life to see how all of it has come together. And so we started at Life Path and we went down to control dramas. Why? Because, and it's beautiful, because Life Path is about manifesting our abundance. Is really that hero's journey and getting to who we're meant to, getting to the dragon, slaying the dragon and being like, I am the hero and this is how it happened, right? So what is control dramas, or why is control dramas after that abundance? Because really, like the abundance show said, or brought up, what we first actually deal with, and I like that they brought this up in the first episode, and first thing I realized was the scarcity trap. It's the mindset that we've been conditioned to, that we don't have enough. They showed it with musical chairs. At first, you know, we all just like sitting down, we like playing, but then you start realizing that if you don't get in a chair, then you're out the game. It's not enough. Not everybody can be a winner. And now you're ready to push your friend out the seat because you need a seat, because you can't be left out. You need to win. And so at the beginning of our initiation within the world, and we are indoctrinated to believe that there is not enough for everybody. We like everybody can't win. Like it's gonna be winners, it's gonna be losers, and that is the actual mindset and the indoctrination that we come into. And all institutions, this is practiced. Like unless you get let's say you had a karate class and everybody got trophies, then this is what we're taught. And the karate class I took, everybody didn't get trophies. I was making sure that I was coming out the top fighter. And so it's wild, because that really does start to show how, again, we focus on scarcity. There is not enough. I am fearful that I will be one of the ones that is not chosen. I will be one of the ones that is left hungry. I will be one of the ones without a medal. I will be one of the ones that does not have the number one or first place medal or status or whatever it is, social recognition. And so through that indoctrination, we start going, oh, nah, it ain't gonna be me. And that is a very crucial and pivotal moment, especially when we talk about abundance, because from there you start to figure out, how is it that, how am I not gonna manifest my abundance? How am I gonna figure out that it's not going to be me, that I'm not going to be the one that's left out, and then we start trying to figure out inclusion, and in a very scarcity type of mindset. Even in, it doesn't matter if you have and you're rich and you're like, oh, my people have da 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 da. If you start to go in the winners losers, you are moving in a mindset that is not in true abundance, because you are still comparing. You still saying you got more money than this person when it's somebody that got more money than you, and somebody got more money than them. You're still in comparison, so it's no way that you're living abundantly, because you're still doing this kind of thing when there is no this in real life. It is all. And so it's ultra important to realize that in the control dramas. But through control dramas, you realize who or what your control drama is through your guardians or your parents. And so for me, my dad was I said the dominator. That's not what it is. It's the intimidator. The dominator is the dominant energy. That's what I was trying to say, but it's the intimidator. Let me write this out. Intimidator. Like, oh no, I don't want none of this, like that kind of energy. And so my dad was the intimidator and my mom was an interrogator. And what's great about the control dramas is, and when you get to reading these kind of things, you have an expanded sense of awareness. That's what led you to reading this anyway. So for the most part, I will say the people that I know read these kinds of books or material and get interested in them, or have the interest since a young age, have the ability to discern and have the ability to look at words and